What's up, everyone? It's your host, Ghost, coming to you live with another wonderful video. How's everyone doing today? Doing all right myself. Um, all right, we got a few things we're going to talk about. First thing is going to be Bella Poarch, who's a TikToker turned musician. Um, she was on the podcast called Her Daddy, and she ends up crying about choosing her secret husband or her career over her secret husband. Apparently, she was secretly married and then got divorced, and now she's upset about it. So I guess we'll just check out what she has to say. It's 8 minutes and 19 seconds. It's not too long. And then after that, we're going to dive into some YouTuber drama, mainly between Dick Masterson, um, Eric July, and then Kayla Law seems to have been in a little bit of it. So we're going to get into that. And then it turns out Will Smith is a bigger simp than we thought, as it's been revealed that he and Jada were sorry were separated for about 6 years before the infamous slap. So I mean, we'll dive into that article. And then apparently, she now revealed what Chris Rock said to her off stage after the infamous slap. So we'll get into that. And then the Border Patrol has just arrested an Iranian national that illegally entered the United States. So we'll look at that. He's been labeled a special interest alien, which is a classification that's generally given to someone who can pose a national security risk, like terrorism. And this is interesting because this comes, days after U.S. intelligence says there's no evidence of Iranian intelligence or of Hamas or anyone from Iran from actually entering the United States through the border. And then speaking, since it's kind of relating to that whole mess, there's another thing going on there. The Israeli official X account got a community note. And if you don't know, on X, community notes are kind of fact checks, basically. So we'll look at that, and we'll see why they got it, and why it looks bad for Israel. And then finally, there's someone, Donald Trump posted a video on his True Social, and it's a funny video. I don't know if he's the one who made it or someone else, but it's pretty funny. It's called the Presidential Olympics. We'll look at that, get a few laughs. So, oh shoot, I gotta put my banner up. There we go. Before I get into it, just make sure you give the video a like, give me a follow on Rumble, and then check out my gaming channel, rumble.com/gaming with Ghost. Check that out. I'm playing the Modern Warfare 3 beta right now, and then on Friday, I will be playing the Spider-Man 2 game. So check me out there. All right. Before I really get into it, make sure you check out Coffee Brand Coffee. It's the company I'm affiliated with. My referral link and coupon code are in the description. They have delicious coffee, as well as teas and hot chocolates. There's a variety of flavors, so you got a lot of options when it comes to Coffee Brand Coffee. So just be sure to check it out. I'd appreciate it. Use that referral link. That gives you 10% off or 5% off. The referral link and the coupon code both will give you 5% off. also, if you use a subscription, that will give you. Sorry, I'm doing a bunch of shit right now. That will give you 10% off. So, if you're interested, but if you use the subscription, you can't use the coupon codes, but still use that referral link. Again, all those are in the description, but they have delicious hot chocolate or delicious coffee. I'm sure they have great tea as well. So just give them a check. That's all. All right. All right. So let's get into my videos today. Like I said, we're going to start with Bella Poarch. Like I said, she's a TikToker turned YouTube star. Um, so we're gonna listen. I haven't watched this, so you're getting my raw reaction here. So I have no idea what she's gonna say. Um, like I saw like maybe like a small clip of it because that's all I was gonna do. And then I realized she didn't really say much, so I just checked and see if I could find a the long form video. Uh, but yeah, all right. So let's get into it. Let's watch it.
I also met a guy in the military, and
I guess some background. She was in like I think the Air Force. Maybe she'll mention what. And she opened up like a while ago that she had some family abuse. I really don't honestly remember what it was, but she claims that she suffered some family abuse growing up. Yeah, so there we go.
that guy is my ex-husband. We were together for 7 years.
7 years, man. And it's interesting. She's never mentioned this at all. I don't know how long she started as a TikToker. 7 years is a good long time for a marriage. And although typically 5 to 7 years is when most marriages end.
Yeah, when I met him, we were both 19, and we were both very introverted. And as soon as we saw each other, we were like we kind of fell in love. Like it was like love at first sight. It was funny. And he didn't say a word. I didn't say a word because I'm introverted. And it was just like, yeah. And then we started seeing each other at the gym, and then that's when we started talking. Um yeah, he definitely helped me through a lot of the dark times.
That's something that's so crazy is like piecing together like your public persona now on TikTok, and we're going to get into it because it's like all of your fans were in shock when they found out that you had been married and you were divorced. And they were like, "Bella, we didn't know you were married. We
Yeah.
didn't know you were divorced. No one knew about this marriage or divorce." And it's inspiring to hear that like you met this person in one of the darkest times of your life. He was there for you. Obviously,
And then apparently, after the dark times, she divorced his ass. Interesting.
you filed for divorce, and we can get to the divorce at some point, but like can you bring me back to that moment of meeting him? Like what do you remember about like your first date or like your first interaction of like actually after you got past the uncomfortable, like, oh my god, we're both introverts, like I'm looking at you and I like you and you like me, but like when did it kind of pick up and like what was the relationship like?
Okay, this is really funny
Okay.
because I've only had one ex-boyfriend before him,
Okay.
and it was like not serious. And I was his first girlfriend.
Oh,
And I remember seeing him look up how to take a girl on a date.
No.
Yeah.
No, it's so
Yeah.
cute,
It was
Bella.
yeah, it was a good.
it's so very cute. And then she divorced his ass in the end. So it's kind of funny. Like this, they're falling over this. Oh, that's so adorable. That's so cute. But then we jump ahead into the future, and she divorces him. So it's so cute, but you couldn't stick with him. Like, I mean, unless later on in the video she says he becomes abusive, which I doubt. But let's find out. But it's just funny. So it's so cute. That's so adorable. And then all of a sudden, then you remember, oh, she. And I'm willing to bet she's the one who initiated. But I could be wrong, but I'm willing to bet she's the one who initiated it.
A Google search. I was like kind of like a crazy girlfriend too.
Like I
by the
may have
way.
been
Like,
looking for his phone. Shut
I
up.
was looking
That's
at the
not-
history.
I feel like that's not the point of the conversation. I was
Yeah.
creeping, whatever.
Yeah,
Anyways,
yeah, but it was just really cute, and yeah, it was very wholesome and cute,
yeah,
and we were both kind of like, oh, this is. We did a lot of our firsts together. Yeah.
it's hard to regain any type of intimacy after something like that. Like, how did you even begin to have a relationship with a man? At what pace? Was he like respectful?
He was definitely very respectful, and the relationship it started very slow, and I had to say hi first because he was really not gonna say hi. We would see each other all the time, like, so we were on the same squadron, but like different work, different work. Like I worked in weapons while he dealt with like
Okay,
parachute stuff,
got
aircrew
it.
stuff. And so like we would always see each other every day at work, but he never says hi. So I had to say the first hi.
Right, you're like, I'm over here. Just we've been
Yeah.
eye fucking each other. Let's go. Come on.
Yeah. And yeah, and then I found out like he actually never talked to girls before, and I thought that was really cute that, and he was really nice.
Yeah. So we're sitting here obviously, and you just casually like, oh yeah, my ex-husband. I'm like, Bella, the internet is like, give us the tea, girl. When and how did he propose to you?
Oh my gosh. He actually proposed to me 2 years before we got married.
Wow. Okay, so 2 years before you got married. How long had you
Yeah.
guys been dating?
He proposed to me months after we started dating.
Oh, that's a
He's like,
terrible
you're the
idea.
only girl that I've ever talked to. Actually, you're the only girl that I've ever even been able to say hi to. We're doing this thing.
That's terrible. Like you shouldn't months. I mean, that's honestly really typical of military. They get married fairly quickly, and then I'm more surprised that they stayed together for 7 years. Like 7 years. Well, I'm assuming that for 7 years she's counting like the time together plus the marriage. So really, it's what 5 years because they got together and then they got engaged and then they got married after 2 years. So actual marriage, what 5 years? Which I still think is what's it, 7 to 10 or is it 5 to 7? I can't remember. Anyways, um, what's funny is like I keep saying, they keep fawning over. Oh, it's so adorable. That's so cute. Oh. But then they end up getting divorced. Like it's kind of proven that you kind of like it's all cute and stuff, but you still ended up getting divorced. So how cute was it really in the end? That's what I'm trying to say, really.
Stop.
We were so we would go on deployment like on the ocean
Mhm.
for 6 months out of
Oh,
the year, and so
my bad. She was in the Navy, not the Air Force. I don't fucking pay that much attention. All right, Navy.
we would go to places like Korea for like 3 days, and then we went to Guam, and that's when he proposed. It was beautiful. I know he looked it up though. He had to look up like tips on how to propose. But yeah, he proposed at the beach. Yeah, and at that time, he didn't have enough money for a ring, so he got me like this necklace. Yeah.
What was the necklace?
It was like a simple diamond necklace,
Yeah.
and he spent like $1,500 on it, and I was like, how do you not have enough?
$1,500. You spent $1,500 on a necklace, but you couldn't spend that on the ring. My wife's engagement ring was $1,500. What is it? What the fuck? All right, dude. Well, this kind of shows that this guy really doesn't have much experience understanding with females, which is fine. Can't always have experience, but a girl like this, Bella Poarch, who's been traumatized, she has been traumatized because she has her past with her family and everything like that. And she says she's only had one boyfriend, but that doesn't mean that's how many people she slept with and all that other things that are going on. And again, they keep saying, "Oh, that's so cute, that's so adorable," but she ends up divorcing him. So I mean, is it really that cute and adorable if you end up leaving the guy afterwards? Like even if it takes 5 years.
Of money for a ring, like that's 1,500. Like you could literally buy a lot. Like there's a lot of options.
He's like,
You
more
know?
bang for. He's like, I had to Google it. Okay, I'm just constantly
Yeah.
stop. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Also, it's very telling that this guy had to Google everything, like how to take a girl out on a date. Like obviously, yeah, he's never had a girlfriend or anything, or talked to girls or anything. He has no experience with women whatsoever. But again, while they keep saying, "Oh, it's so cute that he Googles stuff," it's in the back of their minds. It's not really that cute. It's kind of troubling because women expect you to kind of have your shit together and be able to do the things you do, or be able to do things without having to Google them. They want you to be able to take them out on a date without having to Google how do you take a girl out on a date. That's kind of dumb. And again, he's 19, so you can kind of forgive him and everything like that. But I mean, it's still something. If it's something you end up doing, you don't want the girl to ever find out about it. So
2 months in, did you want to get engaged?
Yeah.
You did.
Yeah. I actually I thought we were actually gonna be together forever.
Oh my god.
Yeah, he has like a tattoo like forever always together.
it's so dumb.
I know. It's like but like, like everything just happened so fast. Like TikTok happened and like he didn't want to be in a spotlight and like I respect that though. Like
Yeah.
Didn't really
it's hard.
respect it
Like
that much.
I want to pursue music. Like I want to be an artist. I want to share music and I want to make content. But when the person you love wants something different, it's like it's hard.
It's kind of funny. She claims to be an introvert and everything, but everything she ends up doing is complete opposite of introvert. So I wouldn't say she's really an introvert. I say she's more maybe shy-ish, but not that shy. I mean, because she started doing TikTok, and that's opposite of introvert and everything like that. And it's obviously her career became far more important than her marriage. And here she is crying on a podcast, call her daddy, whatever. She's crying on a podcast over this guy that she probably ended up divorcing because she cared more about her career. You think if she actually is like this is more fulfilling. I'd rather have my husband, etc., etc. You think she'd be crying over really like, oh, but I never got to be a TikToker. Like seriously, you really think that's what she'd be crying? No, she'd be crying. She'd be happy that hey, maybe I didn't become a TikToker, maybe I didn't become an artist or something, but I got a husband who loves, cares about me, takes care of me, makes sure and that makes me happy, makes me more fulfilled. Instead, she's on a podcast crying about some guy that she ends up divorcing because he doesn't. He's like, no, I don't want to be in the spotlight. I don't really care about being in the spotlight. He probably didn't want his wife on in the spotlight either.
But we're divorced, but we're in good terms. It was a mutual decision.
Yeah, no, that means that it's mutual. Either let's see, mutual. Maybe he divorced her. No, she probably divorced him, but she's trying to make herself look better or feel better by saying, "Oh, it was mutual because they both want." She probably ended up divorcing him, so she doesn't want to sound as terrible or make it sound as terrible because she ended up divorcing him over some dumbass career that, while will make her a lot of money, will leave her sad, alone, and depressed more than she is now. Like,
And I know like a lot of the people I don't know. There was like a time where people thought I cheated on him, and that's why we got a divorce. But that's not actually the truth. Nothing like that happened.
Yeah, well, you kind of cheated. You know went on you chose your career over him. So you started an affair with this stupid TikTok music career, and now you're divorced and crying about it on our podcast. It's kind of funny, honestly.
There's so many questions I have. First of all, did you guys ever have a real wedding? Like, did you?
Yes. We got eloped. The main reason is because we didn't want to deal with saying our vows in front of our families.
Stop. It's so full circle. You're both like, we are introverts. We will not be speaking in front of them.
Yes.
She's not really an introvert.
We're like, stop.
Yeah.
Okay, so you get married. Was it so it was just the two of you by
Yeah,
yourselves?
we got married in Hawaii. Yeah.
You get married, you get eloped. You go
Mhm.
get eloped. You're like, no one can hear our vows. Shut up. We're gonna just say
Yeah.
them in our mind together.
And I want to talk about how funny
Please.
the wedding day was. We were both really broke.
Typical.
And I spent everything on the wedding because I spent because yeah, that's me.
See. She spent all the see. Look, she hates that. She's like, oh well, I spent all the money. Yeah, see, guys, here it is. Like, look, if you're gonna get married, you're either you can't have the girl pay for everything on the wedding. She's not gonna like it. She really hates the fact that she had to spend a bunch of money, the money on the wedding. You can tell that she doesn't like that fact.
I planned the wedding.
Okay, you planned it, so
I had $100 in my bank account, and in the military, like you always spend because you know you're gonna get a check every month. So
that's true.
when we got eloped, I had $100 in my bank account, and I remember that night, that wedding, the wedding night. I I had to deposit $100 on the hotel.
Oh.
So we had $0 that night, and we didn't get to eat dinner, but we were married, and we were so happy. We were just so broke. We were young, dumb, and broke, literally,
But happy.
but really happy.
Apparently not that happy if you shows your goddamn career. Like, she keeps saying, oh, we were so happy, but then she ends up divorcing him over her career. Like, I want to do this career, and you're not worth hanging around because you don't want me to do this career, or you don't want to be in the spotlight or anything like that.
Hi, Daddy Gang.
Okay, so that's it. But it's just funny. She's sitting there crying over all this, and then but she ends up divorcing him. Like, she's like, oh, I'm so sad about this. I'm so upset about this. But you end up divorcing the dude. Like, it, you're like, marriage isn't that easy, and to go on a whim and all this and just do it, and also they've been engaged for 2 years and they couldn't set aside more than $100. Like, I mean, whatever. But it's kind of clear that it wasn't, ideal for her or anything like this. And again, she cared more about, this potential career to be an artist or whatever over um over her husband. And look, the reason she kept it a secret and everything when she did wait, was she married while doing the TikTok? Hold on. Okay, it looks like she was married while she was doing the TikTok stuff. So, obviously, when as a woman, it's always a good idea to ensure you keep your relationship secret because most guys are going to click on it and want to interact with you when they think you're single and everything like that. So that was probably another part of it. Is she's getting all this attention from random dudes. Her husband probably didn't like it, and she decided to choose her career over this. And you know what? Hey, do you? If that's what you want to do, that's fine. I mean, guys, you can't really force a woman to give up anything for you, because even if she does, one or two things can happen. She's going to resent you or hate your guts, and you'll end up getting divorced anyways. Like, for example, when my wife got pregnant, I told her, I was like, look, I guarantee within 6 months you're going to want to stay at home, and that's going to be okay. I didn't force her to stay at home, but I told her this is what I'm going to see. This is what I expect is going to happen. And sure enough, 6 months later, one day at this point she's working 1 day a week, and I'm taking a week off, or one day off a week to watch our daughter while she goes to work. So she's working 1 day a week for 6 months, from like January till May. I think that's 6 months. January, February, March, April, May. Okay, it's 4 months. Whatever. Was it May? May or June? No, it was June. 6 months, yeah. June. But 1 day in June. Whatever. It was May or June. I don't fucking. I want to say June. Maybe May. Whatever. After a certain amount of time, she's working 1 day a week. Okay, not that hard. 1 8-hour day a week. And one day she comes to me. Or actually, she ends up getting COVID, and then our daughter ends up getting sick that same week. I was able to take 1 or 2 days off, and then she had to obviously take care of everything else, but I had to work at what are you gonna do? So she had to call off 1 day, 1 8-hour day. And she comes to me, and she's like, "Would you be mad if I just didn't want to work anymore?" I was like, "No, I make enough that you don't have to work. It's optional for you at this point. I'm not gonna, I didn't force her to quit or anything." So the point of the story is, and so now she's a stay-at-home mom. But the point of the story is, you can't force a woman to give up anything for you, because it's just gonna end up bad. And I knew that going in, so that's why I never forced my wife. Like, hey, stay home. You're not gonna work anymore. It has to be up to her decision. And so, Bella Poarch's decision was, I'm going to keep doing this TikTok crap, and I would rather choose that over my husband that I love so much and thought was so adorable, that I'd rather do this stuff than stay together with him and end up being happy. So instead, she's crying on a podcast over him, which is funny. Which I hope, this dude, whatever the fuck his name is happy, and got a new girl that way hotter than her and everything. It's big old fu. Not that I hope he's like hates her or anything like that, but it just kind of sucks when you're married to someone you love, and then 4 or 5 years after she wants to do this dumb TikTok thing. You're like, hey, I don't really like this, and so she ends up divorcing. I guarantee she ends up divorcing him. But it's just funny. Now she's crying about it on TikTok, or on a podcast. All right. There we go. So here we go. So here's the drama. So basically, here is the drama, really. You know what? Actually, let me scroll down, because this is what basically. This is like, too long to read. Basically, to make a long story short, Rekieta Law kind of sums up the beef between Eric July and Derek. And for those who don't know, Eric July, he made this comic book called ISOM. He raised like $1 million or so for it, and and Dick Masterson, he's been on, he's been in like the internet space for a while. He's kind of famous, depending if you've seen it, is by playing a role on Dr. Phil and fooling Dr. Phil to think he actually believed the things that he was spouting. And he just played a character on the Dr. Phil show. Anyways, So, Ricada Law kind of sums up the beef between these two fairly succinctly. All right, so he types, and this is all in response to this guy here. So I guess we'll get into this. So Eric Dick Masterson says Eric is losing on stream. Can't wait to see him in court. So this is from he's responding to he's mumbling incoherently and loses steam between ISIM lawsuit and super chats. Do people really watch Eric July unironically? He isn't a good performer at all. He's sleeping. He's a sleeper at veto comedy right now. And so Dick Masterson responds to this. And Ricada Law goes, can't believe you're threatening to take him to court. And then this guy here, Val, says, just disappointed to see you riding Dick's dick. If Eric dropped dead tomorrow, Dick would celebrate. Which is an odd response, considering Ricada just said he can't believe you're threatening to take him to court. Like, he's not on Dick's side of this. It's like, why are you taking him to court? That's dumb. And then he responds that he would drop dead. And then Ricada's like, well, I wouldn't. And then Val says, instead, you would just ignore what Dick's doing because in your eyes, he can do no wrong. You will never call him out. That's a lie. You're based on literally everything else, but Dick is your blind spot. I don't know why, and all I know is Dick is the drama. Who cares what I think? I'm nobody. Well, that's true. And then Ricada Law, and here's the thing. Obviously, this guy here doesn't watch Ricada Law, or else he would have known that Ricada did call Dick out. He called Dick out in private and apparently in public, something that Ricada doesn't even remember, but Dick remembers. And he says, and Ricada told Dick, hey, why are you doing this? This is dumb. Stop. That's what Ricada Law does. Anyway, but this guy clearly doesn't watch, and he's just commenting because he's a fucking idiot. So Ricada Law says, wait, aren't you commenting because I'm not ignoring what he's doing and that's annoys you? Tell me, since no one else will, if you were me, what would you do about what Dick is doing? Pretty much just ask him why. And then based off the response, if I got one, go from there. It's not really my business what Dick does, just want him to make it make sense. He's clearly driven by Eric for some reason. Good. Here's the reason Dick's doing it. It's for the lulz. It's because it's making him money by, well, one, I don't think he likes ISIM. Before I actually get into this, let's read basically the brief summary that Ricada does. Dude, I don't know how to do this. He mentioned no one talking about the comic, praised the story, and inferred the story's bad. Was challenged to read it and review it. Did it, said it was bad. Gave notes to make better. He was immediately dismissed as a hater, racist, SJW, and more because he did the one thing no one was allowed to do, criticize ISIM. After that, he looked at the price, thought it was too much, said it wasn't a great business model, suggested drop shipping, etc., called angry because black man suggests, looked at charity, asked why $2.50 book needed a $17 donation, was told actually it's a $14 book, 13 something. Says, kind of looks like fraud. Where's the money going? Response was, why do you hate charity, racist? Mysteriously, 8,000 donation gets made within days. Numbers still don't make sense. He gets blamed for someone else contacting charity and then someone else contacting ISIM ministry because he laughed at it. The whole world hears he and Vito are behind it because racist jealousy. Eric comes on my show and says he never claimed it was them because he doesn't have evidence. Incidentally, all I asked was for evidence Eric promised he had in a video, and now he doesn't. After that, it's over, man. Everyone is like, why would Dick do this? But he criticized the uncriticizable. He called a successful black man's comic not well written, exposed the biggest unspoken thing about any comments. No one is in the circle criticizes them, and some of them, basic understanding, which just most of them, have glaring story and editing issues. Everyone is mad the truth popped out. And ISIM, the most successful single campaign, happens to fit the bill in Dick's opinion. But Eric is a popular black and on our side, so how fucking dare he? Kiss the Ring is a message not from Eric, but from the anti-woke community. I assume that's anti. Kiss doesn't kiss the ring, only men. I don't kiss ring. This isn't rings. This isn't rocket science. So that's basically the nicest thing. Now, so for some background information, Eric July does a charity. He sells his comic book for $17, and then Dick's like, well, why does a book that's was this much before cost $17 now? He thinks the book really costs like $2.50. So he's just wondering why it's $17. And then Eric July goes on Ricada Law show and says, well, actually, the book really costs like $13.50, and then the extra $3.50. What was it? No, it was $13. I don't fucking remember. But it was either $13.50, $13, $14, whatever. And then he says, but we figured the extra $3 to $2.50, whatever, the extra bit was incorporates like the shipping and all and the labor, et cetera, blah 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 blah. And Ricada's telling him, was like, dude, if you're saying the book costs $17, the response when asked, why does the book cost $17? How much does the book cost? It costs $17. You don't need to go over that extra shit. And then Eric July made a big deal about, oh, well, nothing's nefarious went on, and blah 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 blah. And Ricada's Law keeps saying, he's like, dude, I don't think you did anything wrong. I'm just saying the optics look bad, which they do. If you're asking for a donation of if you're asking people to spend $17 on a comic book, and when asked how much does a comic book cost, the response should be 17 fucking dollars. Not, well, it's actually 14, and then there's the shipping, there's labor required, blah 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 blah, and actually you spend less if you bought in bulk, and blah blah blah. Because Ricada asked a very simple question: how, if you just put one comic book, how much does it cost? And the response was not, it's cost $17. It cost 14, but with labor and everything like this, and then if you ended up buying in bulk, you just went into a long, unnecessary explanation. But when it comes to a charity donation, the response should be, it costs 17. Eric doesn't understand that, and he keeps trying to, like, all Ricada's doing is trying to help him, one, understand why people may think something nefarious is done, even though Ricada Law himself doesn't think that. But also try and help him for possible, like I said, thoughts of nefarious. Because what people what most people hear was like, if you paid $17 for this book, but the book actually costs 14, they think, and this could be very, obviously would be very incorrect, that Eric is pocketing the $3. Yeah, the $3 extra. That's what people will think. And then after being called out on about it, he donates $8,000 to the charity. Now, Eric says that was already planned to do, and there was already in contract, which very well may be, but it just doesn't look good. That's the problem. Like, I don't think Eric July understands optics on this thing at all. All right, and then this lawsuit he's talking about, ISIM Ministry. So Eric July's main superhero's name is ISIM, or whatever. There's also a church thing called ISIM, and it stands for, what's it? International School of Ministry, ISIM. It's been around for a while. It's a Christian's thing, whatever. So that ministry finds out about it. And there's something that just popped recently that I'm going to share here in a second. And so they have a trademark on the word, the actual thing, ISOM. They have a trademark on it. And so they're suing Eric July currently for his use of their trademark ISOM. So that's what he's talking about there. But that's it. So there we go. Now, Dick just retweeted this or tweeted this not too long ago. So, size and order. Hold on. Okay. So tweeted that out not too long ago. And then Ricada got the actual tweet. So someone tweeted at Eric July. Remember, guys, making a brown Muslim superhero is woke identity politics, but a black Christian superhero who's named after the largest ministry school in the world with a cross on his crotch is woke free, apparently. So this is clearly someone criticizing Eric July because Eric July is against Marvel and everything that he's heavily criticized on it, as he should be. And then Eric July responded, "No one has ever claimed born Muslim equals woke. What you're watching is your arguments being diffused because you never actually bothered to listen to the positions of your enemies. Also, theories are awesome, but I have no idea the fuck are you talking about with ministry school." And then this is Dick Bastion's tweet. Proof Eric July was aware of the ISM brand confusion last year before I ever even heard of him. So there you go. Because the whole thing, that Eric is trying to say is, I had no idea about this. This wasn't why I created ISOM or anything like that. And the whole reason that there's an actual lawsuit going on is due to the fear that people that know about ISOM, the ministry school, would confuse Eric July's ISOM comic with the ministry school. And that's their whole purpose. That's why the ministry school is suing Eric, is on the, they're like, hey, we're afraid that your brand will harm our brand by confusing our audience. So that's why there's the trademark lawsuit going on currently. And now Eric's response was, Now, recently, Eric July did a tweet, or not did a tweet, but did a video trying to talking about the Christian organization's lawsuit. There we go. And he told his reasoning for naming ISOM. Here's the thing, though. Doesn't matter in regards to the lawsuit. It doesn't matter why he named it ISOM. It really doesn't matter because they have the trademark and their trademark and I get basically when it comes to trademark lawsuits, the one of the main factors is, did you have to use the trademark? And the answer is no, he didn't have to use the trademark. The reason why he used the trademark, regardless of knowledge, but it appears he does have a knowledge of it, so he could have easily Googled it. But his reasoning behind it is like, well, I didn't know about it, but the whole reason I named it was for this particular reason. And the reason is ISOM's the name of his grandfather. And apparently all the characters, or not all the characters, but some of the characters behind ISOM, his actual name, his parents, have to do with his family. Very cool. Very, awesome. That's really cool. Now, it has nothing to do with the lawsuit, though. So the video he made about it really didn't fucking matter. And it was, in my opinion, fairly dumb, because here's the thing. People that like Eric have been acting upon that in real life. There's one guy named Riley who went to his warehouse that you can Google up. Just type in the Google reverse and you could find it. I guess I haven't done it because I don't care. But apparently you could Google Rippaverse warehouse or some shit like that, and you'd be able to find the address. And then Riley went to the warehouse that was actually, publicly accessible, even if you just had to go down a dirt road. But there was no private sign, private driveway, blah, 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 blah. There's nothing there. So effectively, in the eyes of law, it's public, which is what Nick was trying to tell Eric, and Eric didn't seem to understand. So he went to the Rippaverse warehouse, and he put some stickers on, and put a couple dollar bills on, and made a video about it, and thought it was funny. So there's people out there doing this. So, and after all that, Eric decides to talk about and respond to it, and respond to the lawsuit and give all this private information about and why he did this, why he did that, why he named this character this and this. All I have to do is his family. So, and this is after morons decided to go to his house, or not go to his house, go to his warehouse, and show that they don't give two shits and they're going to be idiots. So after doing this, someone tweeted this. And, some got moronic opinions. I beat Riley to it. So, Isom Knox. And that is the name of his grandfather. Or great-grandfather, I think. So, Isom Knox. No, it was his grandfather. Okay. And then Eric just tweeted, everything's a joke to these people. Nothing is off limits. Just ignored or you had it coming, because above all else is their hatred for me, of me, and what I've built. Here's the thing. Kind of did have it coming, Eric. And here's why. You already knew these people would stoop to any heights. Stoop low and do whatever to get a rise out of you, which is getting a rise out of you. They are feeding off of the rise they are getting from you, which is clearly what you've been doing for the past couple of weeks. So when you go and dox your family, which is basically what he ended up doing. I mean, they're all dead, so it's not really that, but kind of is. You dox your family by, giving out their information and everything like that. Can you really be surprised that these same fucking people will go out and do something like this? I'm not surprised. But the thing is you didn't need to tell people why you named shit the way you named it. You could just say, this is the name I came up with. I have my reasoning behind it, but it's not important to the lawsuit. Or at the very least, not give out the last fucking name. I don't. Look, this is fucked up. Going to someone's gravestone and taking a picture and all that. It's dumb. It's fucked up. It doesn't really harm anyone, in all honesty. What is it fucked up wrong? Yes, absolutely. But when you do this and you already know people don't like you and want to get a rise out of you, why would you give them more ammo? And that's what Eric did. He gave him more ammo by doxing his grandparents. So, but that's the YouTuber drama. And I think this probably has less to do with hatred of you and what you've built, Eric, and more of this is going to be really funny and it's going to piss off Eric July. It probably has more to do with this will be funny and it's going to piss him off. And I just find that hilarious more than I hate you and I'm going to take a picture and pose next to your grandfather or great grandfather. So there we go. All right. I'm probably going to have to shut it down here, so I might not get to my other topics, unfortunately. But we'll see. Talking too much. Jada Pinkett Smith reveals she and Will Smith have been separated since 2016. In an exclusive clip for, apparently she did an interview and it's going to air today. But in an exclusive clip from her upcoming NBC News primary time special, The Hoda Kotub, Pinkett Smith confirms that there's more to her marriage than she has previously shared. Jada Pinkett Smith is revealing that the truth about her relationship with Will Smith. I'm not going to read all that. Confirms that there's more to her marriage. Okay, I already read that shit. Goddamn. According to Pinkett Smith, she and Smith have been separated and had lived completely separate lives since 2016, almost 20 years after they married in 1997. She details more about their relationship, how it started, and where it stands now in her upcoming memoir, Worthy, out October 17th. In a preview clip, Kotub asked Pinkett Smith for details about the marriage. The marriage revelation in her memoir, which she says surprised her the most out of the book, which many surprises. While the two are still legally married, Pinkett Smith explained that she and Smith are no longer romantically together. It was a non-divorce on paper, she clarified. Right, Pinkett Smith responded. But it was a divorce, he said. Whatever, Kay said. Continues. Divorce, Pinkett Smith emphasized. Bald-ass chick. Ugh, it's terrible looking. When Kay asked directly why the couple hadn't previously shared their relationship status, Pinkett Smith said it came down to just not being ready yet. Still trying to figure out between the two of us how to be in a partnership in regards to how do we present that to people. We haven't figured that out. When Kay asked what led to the relationship fracture, Pinkett Smith responds why it fractured. That's a lot of things, but by the time we got to 2016, we were just exhausted with trying. I think we were both kind of just stuck in our fantasy of what we thought the other person would be. She was still in love with Tupac, that's why. And then she fucked some other dude named August. Well, that may have happened after the separation. But she was still in love with Tupac. Couldn't really have that much love and desire for Smith. That's what happened. Pinkett Smith added that while she has considered a legal divorce, she has never been able to go through with it. I made a promise that there will ever be a reason for us to get divorced. We will work through it, whatever she says. I just haven't been able to break that promise. But you were able to fuck another dude. Smith and Pinkett Smith's longtime partnership has included headlines about her entanglement with singer August Alsina, an ensuing joint Red Table Talk interview in 2020, as well as Smith slapping Oscar host Chris Rock after he joked about Pinkett Smith's hair at the 2022 Academy Awards. Smith also published a memoir in 2021, which touched on their marriage. During the Table Talk interview in 2020, Smith and Pickett Smith addressed their marriage as well as her relationship with Alcina, whatever, or the entanglement, as she called it. At the time, Pickett Smith and Smith confirmed that prior to her relationship with Alcine, they had been going through a very difficult time. I was done with your ass, Smith joked in the episode. Yeah, you kicked me to the curb. We broke up. What wasn't known until now is that the couple never actually got back together. Sorry. Smith and Pickett Smith have two children, 24-year-old son Jaden and 21-year-old daughter Willow. The Pursuit of Happiness actor also has a 29-year-old son, Trey, from his first marriage to Cherie Zambino. I didn't know that. In her memoir, Pickett Smith details the roller coaster ride from the depths of suicidal depression to the heights of personal rediscovery and celebration of authentic feminine power. Per publisher Day Street Books, as well as her relationship with rapper Tupac Shakur, whom she met in high school. And that was she was Afro widowed by. So, now why is all this important? Well, again, they were separated in 2016. And Will Smith in 2020, or was it, ends up slapping Chris Rock. 2022 ends up slapping. So this is 6 years after their separation, but he ends up slapping Chris Rock over his attempt to defend Jada's honor over a joke about the fact that she doesn't have any fucking hair because she dyes it so many fucking colors that she ended up chemically like having some disease where she has to shave it over a joke. On a woman that he's separated from and doesn't live with and isn't romantically loved with. It's kind of just what's important here is to show that Will Smith is a bigger simp than we ever thought. Because it's one thing if you slap, it's over jokes. It wasn't an attempt to actually like attack him. It was a joke, and it was funny because Will Smith thought it was hilarious until Jada stared at him, glared at him like, "You're not gonna do anything." So Will Smith just pretty much ended his career for slapping Chris Rock, because let's be honest, no one really respects Will Smith anymore. There's not much. I mean, are you really excited for any movie that's coming out with Will Smith? Not fucking really. And all that over a woman that he's effectively separated from, basically divorced without actually putting in the paperwork. So he's done all this for a woman that he's separated from. So I think this is a definition of a fucking simp, a fucking loser. Look, I love my wife, and I would defend her honor, but I wouldn't slap some dude for making a clearly obvious joke at her expense because it's a joke. A joke's a fucking joke. But I especially wouldn't do shit if it was during the time when I'm no longer with her, not even romantically involved with. And it's been 6 years that we've been quote unquote separated. Dumb. And let's be honest, the reason she didn't want to publicly say she's separated from Will Smith is because she'd lose a bunch of fucking business and roles. Because if she's not with Smith, if Jada Pinkett Smith is not with Will Smith, no one gives a shit about her. No one's going to give her any acting roles because she's not that great of an actress. But also, no one's going to really care about her because all that's really defines her is that last name Smith. And let's be honest, it's been a year since that slap. And the reason she's coming out about it now is only due to the fact that Will Smith's name doesn't mean shit to anyone anymore. If Will Smith's name was still good and not tarnished, she wouldn't be revealing any of this. All right. Basically, the moral of the story is don't simp on chicks, dudes. All right, so Jada Pinkett Smith reveals what Chris Rock said to her offstage after Will Smith. Chris looks at me and says, "Jada, I meant no harm to you girls." I don't believe this for a second. Jada Pinkett Smith is revealing what happened off camera immediately after Will Smith slapped Chris Rock on stage at the 2022 Academy Awards. On March 27, 2022, Okay, so that hasn't been in a year, but it's nearly. Oh no, it's been over a year. Yeah, it's been over almost a year, or almost 2 years. So it's been about a year and some change. Okay, sorry, I don't math well. On March 27th, 2022, millions of viewers watched Smith approach Rock and slap him after he poked fun at Pickett Smith, who has opened up about having alopecia and her shaved head. And the reason she has alopecia, by the way, is because she fucking dyed her hair so much, her hair just died. Some viewers then saw Smith return to his seat and yell to Rock, "Keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth." But she's not his wife, your wife, Smith. Let's be honest. If you're separated, you can't effectively say, whatever. Some bullshit I'm not listening to. The 52-year-old actor tells her, the reporter, in an exclusive clip from the area that she had a brief conversation with Rock with snippets for the best documentary nominees were shown. Chris looks at me and says, "Jada, I meant no harm," she crawls. "I'm just out of it because I'm really worried about Will, and Will's still talking. Now he's mad because Chris is talking to me." And I go, "Chris, this is about some old shit. That's all I could think of saying, right?" And I couldn't really take his apology. This adds another layer to the long history between Smith and Rock. In an interview with Public this week, she shared the comedian tried to ask her out on a date. I don't believe that. I think every summer all reports would come out. That me and Will are getting a divorce, and this particular summer, Chris, he thought that we were getting a divorce. She's saying, so she called me. So he called me and basically was like, "I'd love to take you out," and I was like, "What do you mean?" He was like, "Well, aren't you and Will getting a divorce?" I was like, "No, Chris, those are just rumors." And he was appalled. He profusely apologized, and that was that. I don't believe this for a second. In her interview with Kay, Pickett Smith has also discussed the public response to Smith's behavior the night of the Oscar. Kay points out how surprising it was to see Smith so riled up, because he's a fucking loser. Totally out of character, the Today co-anchor said. Pickett Smith agreed, adding, "It's not him whatsoever." Since Smith's actions were so shocked, some critics suggest that Pickett Smith was blamed for his outburst. She was. Some headlines implied that she encouraged Smith to defend her. "You became the bad guy," Kay says. "Look what Jada made it do." Jada rolled her eyes, and look what he did. My honest opinion about that is the narrative has done more to do with false narratives that I helped to create on the Red Table. She replies, referring to an episode of her Facebook Live series Red Table Talk that has since been canceled. In September 2020, Smith appeared on the talk show to discuss the public scandal involving Pickett Smith entanglement with musician August Alsina. Couple said they were briefly separated when her friendship with Alsina turned into romance. "We came together young. We both broke in our own ways," Smith said at the time. "To be able to make mistakes without the fear of losing family is so critical." Looking back at the kind of conversation, Pickett Smith tells Kay she became the adulterous wife in the eyes of the public. Yeah, and then you guys kept lying, saying you were together, when it turns out you guys weren't fucking together. So you guys both look like shit. She says people assume she forced him to go to that table and sit there. And look at what she's done. She has the power with an eye roll to make him go up and slap someone on stage, she says. It's exactly what fucking happened. Like, she's trying to mitigate her role in this. But let's be honest, it's 100% true. That's what it is. That's what it really is. No, we all know she's the reason Will slaps Chris. Because Will's laughing. He thinks it's hilarious. This is a hilarious joke. Ha ha ha. And then the second Jada looks at him, his demeanor changes, and he goes up and slaps Kurt's Rock. That's what fucking happened. Don't try and bullshit us. And then, not only, oh, you're being attacked. Oh, blah, 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 blah. And you don't mention until a year and change later, over a year later, that, oh, by the way, we've been separated for 6 years. Get out of here, lady. Get the fuck out of here. You clearly were the bad guy here. And we all fucking know it. And now, not only does this continue to make both of you look bad, I mean, well, you look bad, but it makes Will Smith look bad. So you're telling me he goes and slaps some guy for comments about his so-called wife over a joke that wasn't very funny. At least people could give Will the credit that, hey, his wife felt offended, so he slapped Chris to help his wife, blah blah. People could cling on to that idea, like, okay, it's a dumb reason, but he's doing it for his wife. All right, cool. And then we find out, oh no, by the way, we've been separated for 6 years. Like, come, what the fuck, people? Like, seriously, what the fuck? So goddamn dumb. All right, so we got played, is what happened. That's what happened. We got played. We got played by the Smiths. And the only reason Jada's even talking about this shit and revealing all this is because Will Smith's name is in the garbage. And that's the reason why she didn't want to publicly say that they were separated. Because, like with Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, the second that her name detaches from Will Smith's name, the roles she will get decreases significantly. And she doesn't get many roles as is. So that's the reason why she didn't want to publicly say they were separated. Let's call a spade a spade. Okay. So I wanted to keep a problem. No, it's all bullshit. She wanted to ensure that she could keep the clout and everything like that. That's what she wanted. All right. This is the last thing I'm going to do because I got to get up and take care of my daughter. My wife has a doctor's appointment. So I think I'll get on later and do these last two things and maybe some new things that happened today. So I'm going to get this first though. So this is Israel's official X account apparently. And they tweeted this: Little Mary Jane, color books left open, a stuffed animal, heartbreak emoji. This could be your child's room, no words. So, blood, all right, and indicating that a child was killed in here. This is terrible, right? Horrible. Feel for it. I have a daughter myself. Stuff like this really upsets me. It pisses me off. But then we get a community note. And community note, like I said, it's a fact check basically by Twitter or X. Deoxyribonucleic blood has a shade of dark red, so it is a stage. The blood is not pink. Okay. So there you go. So this looks bad for Israel. Now it looks like they're lying. And a lot of people blame Israel and all this stuff. No, whatever. I'm not getting into that part. I've talked about it. I've had enough about fucking Israel and this shit, honestly. But when you get photos like this come out and then get a community note added to it where it's saying this is actually staged, it doesn't look like dried blood or blood that's, whatever. It looks bad for Israel. It calls something like this calls into question everything they've been posting. And, it's going to end up causing people not to believe you when you kind of need them to believe you. So there we go. Take it what you will. Whatever. Like I said, I'm kind of done talking about this shit, honestly. Unless something more interesting comes out. That was fairly interesting. Just them getting called out, but I've really lost a lot of interest in this. All right. So I got to go up and I got to end the stream early, unfortunately. I talked too much about Bella Poarch, Ricada Loss, and the YouTube drama, and et cetera, et cetera. And then this Smith shit. So I got to go. One last thought, especially really on the Bella Poarch thing. It's interesting just to see some, girl who's like, I was in love, cared about this guy, and then she ends up divorcing him to be TikTok famous because most of her audience are guys. Guys are thirsty as hell. And so it always helps when you present yourself as single when you're not. And clearly she was single during all the, or in a marriage during all this. Husband didn't like it. So she chose her goddamn career over her husband, who would give her long lasting happiness for a career that's not going to really make her happy. And honestly, odds are when she ages out and stops looking so good, that career is going to fall off really quick. It's unfortunately what happens with female artists. It is what it is. What can you do about it? So, she kind of gotten what she's paid for at this point. And, well, it sucks. What can you do? Except, not do that dumb shit. So, but it's just funny to see, girl that, had what she had. It may not have been a luxurious or grand lifestyle, but she had love. And this is the problem with today's, youth nowadays. The women of modern women is they'll chase a career over happiness. And then, thinking that will grant them happiness. And in the end, it turns out it's not going to make them happy. So what can you do? Well, stick with the right thing. Your husband. She should have stuck with her husband. I mean, if he just ended up being a bum, all right, I would understand that. But guy is military. I mean, military doesn't give you like the best lifestyle, but it's a paycheck. The benefits are fairly good. You're not going to be rich, but you'll be able to survive and work, be on a day-to-day basis. It is what it is. What can you do? But my main thing about it is it's just funny seeing someone who now effectively probably has it all. Successful music career, TikTok famous, lots of money. She's gone on modeling tours. She's done the whole runway shit, blah, 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 fucking blah. And here she is on a podcast, crying her eyes out over the guy she left. Women make bad decisions, guys. Guys make bad decisions too, but so do women. And, it was really, I just talked about it because it's just interesting to see, in all honesty. All right, now I really got to go. Make sure you follow me here on my Rumble channel with Ghost. Check me out. Follow me here on Rumble, YouTube too if you want, but really Rumble. Check my gaming channel out, gaming.rumble.com/gaming with Ghost. I'll probably be on later today playing some Modern Warfare 3 beta. So give me a look there. And obviously follow me on X at officialwghost. I just paid for premium, so hopefully my tweets and whatnot will go out to a larger audience. I hope you all have a good day. Peace out and see you later. And again, check it. Make sure you follow me on X because I always tweet when I'm about to go live and everything. So if you want to see me play some Call of Duty beta, Modern Warfare 3 beta, sorry, check that out. All right, I hope you have a good day. Peace out. See you later.